Okay. Well, that's nice.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are here at Thrivent Financial. We're about to have an awesome conversation
about money. Yay!
Yes.
Let's talk about money.
Yeah. It's Monday morning. Let's talk about money. But we're really actually excited for this Facebook Live with Melissa Hofmeister. We've been talking about it for a while, and there's obviously so many questions we could ask her, talking about budgeting and saving, retirement. It's a really scary word.
Taxes. It's tax time. So everybody,
did you do your taxes? So
this is your reminder that it's
March.
March.
You hadn't heard.
It's mid-March.
You should probably get on that.
Get moving.
It's okay if you haven't started. I literally did mine in one night this weekend, and it wasn't that overwhelming. So don't stress. So I'm Lauren. I'm here with Sarah from the blog as well. She owns it. You probably know her. And then Melissa Hofmeister, who's going to introduce herself.
Yeah, well, hey everybody, I'm so glad I could join you today. I'm Melissa Hofmeister. I'm a financial advisor with Thrivent Financial, but I'm also a mom of 3 amazing boys. So they are 14, 11, and 8, and I've been married for 17 years, and so I know firsthand all of the crazy transitions that you go through in those early years of becoming a wife, a parent. Some people have a career. I mean, we buy homes. We might have already, I've bought and sold 3 homes already, lived in 3 states.
Man.
So I definitely know chaos surrounding money. And I'm so excited to share some tips today and just answer some of the questions that came in offline.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you have questions.
This is an important question I have to ask first.
Okay, you ask
before we even put it out there. So you said your boys are how old?
14, 11, and 8.
Okay.
So similar to you.
Exactly. So my children right now, my boys, all 3 of mine are 11, 9, and 7. And what I need to know is how to grocery budget. They are already eating the out of house and home, Melissa.
2 words for you: rice and beans.
Ugh.
You gotta get them to figure that out. No, I'm serious.
But for real though.
I do. I make them eat rice and beans sometimes because they eat. Yeah,
it's
they
insane.
eat.
We got it from the dinner table last night. We cleaned up. And as soon as the dishes were done, 2 of my 3 children went and grabbed an apple and started eating. I said, "What are you doing? We just ate dinner." And they literally just like smirked at me like, "Get used to this."
Okay, pot of soup in the fridge at all times is my go-to. Are you hungry? Get yourself a bowl of soup.
That's
it's super cheap and it's healthy for them.
I feel like there's ways you can like extend meat too. This is like, I don't know how people feel about this, but like I think somebody told me like she chopped up like zucchini with the ground and threw it in with the ground beef and sauteed it, and it like doubled the portion size.
Yep.
But was only half the meat. So
you can cut in black beans with tacos too.
Black beans. Yeah. What else can you add in? If you know something else you can add into meat, let us know.
Comment below.
Yes, we will take suggestions on making, stretching meat.
Yeah. Yes. I already did it to the tacos. I had riced cauliflower.
Oh, that's
into the taco.
I've done that.
Into the ground taco meat. Yes, because it helps stretch it. It helps add veggies. Okay, I'm sorry. That was a tangent I didn't mean to take, but like for real though.
That's good. First step in healthy financial planning is
they eat so much.
Budgeting. And be wise. Yeah.
Great segue into budgeting.
So I'm kind of geeky, so I love budgeting. But I do think it's one of the number one ways that you can impact your family is knowing how your money's coming in, which I think a lot of people don't really think about. Is the money coming into their checkbook being maximized? Are they getting the most they could out of their employer? But then where's it going? And I love, either cash, because some people just have no self-control. In my younger days, cash was the way I had to go.
Yeah.
But right now I'm loving the app You Need a Budget. It syncs with your debit card and your credit card, so instantly the next day you can categorize, you can be planning ahead for what bills are coming up, and make sure that the paychecks are covering your necessities first, and then you can look to see how much fun money you have left and if you're allowed to go out for pizza or save up towards some really big goals, which is nice to kind of watch that grow right in the app.
So what if we're not nerdy like that and we look at budgeting and we think of it as a 4-letter word and we're a little bit scared because right now I'm sure I'm not the only one that kind of goes
heart palpitations like at the end of the month.
Yeah, at the end of the month or throughout the month, because like I remember there was a time when I would know that the gas tank was getting low, but I would look at my husband and go, "Don't you dare put gas in that car. If you have to walk, you walk. But if you so much as breathe on the debit card, so how do you just even start. Like,
Yeah.
the first basic steps to, okay, we need to set up a budget of something. No wonder they named it You Need a Budget.
YNAB, for
Yeah.
short. YNAB.
YNAB. You can find it.
101, first step.
First step, I would go to if you usually spend out of a debit card, I go to your bank's website and print off the last 2 months of your statements.
Okay.
And get out a good old-fashioned highlighter and start to understand where your money has gone in the past.
Yeah.
Because it's probably indicative of where it's going to go. So how much did you spend in gas?
And I've seen, like, my bank statement actually has, like, a graph, like a
Categorizes
printout.
it for
where
you,
you can,
yeah.
like, an activity statement.
Yep.
And that's
Yeah.
very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
When I open that up, I, like, stop breathing
Like, whoa.
completely. Because I don't know, why is it so hard? Why does it cause so much anxiety? Like, I hate that.
I think it comes down to women have just very different values around money than men do, and just how money works. And I
Yeah.
think when you start to think about money in the sense of, like, what can it do for you? Like, I want to spend more time with my kids. I want to be able to give them the things that they're looking forward to. Then the budgeting, the why I'm budgeting, why am I taking time, why am I getting over the heart, palpitations. It starts to be, it starts to make it easier. So
I think for me, at least, I get so emotionally wrapped up in it because to me, like, the number, the money, is so closely tied to security, to taking care of my family.
Yeah.
And I have this just crippling fear always that, like, even in looking at the statements, like when you were saying looking at that graph makes you feel stressful because I'm afraid, what is that going to say about me as a mom?
Yep.
And
I think when you look at a graph or just like a bunch of numbers too, you don't actually know what it means. Like, am I okay?
Yeah.
Am I off by a little bit? Or am I way off track? And when you don't know where you are on your money journey, that can really be, just
okay.
adding more stress than maybe it needs to. And that's why I think sometimes, I laugh that we sometimes spend more time caring for our pets than we do our own financial security, right?
I'm guilty of that one.
We'll jump in. They get
I
their
love my
annual
dog.
checkup.
I love my dog.
I know, that's why you said analogy.
I love my
I'm
dog.
like,
I hate my bank
seriously?
account.
I do.
But you don't have to do it alone, right? You have a vet who can walk you through when they need shots and how they should be growing. Are they on track with their growth? Oh, he's a little chubby. Let's back off the amount of food. And that's the same with your financial story. No one is educated about this in school anymore.
No.
Like, you're given the quick overview, but how that plays out in everyday life is not what they teach you in school.
Oh, no. I mean, I got to college and I had people, like, practically throwing credit card applications at me like confetti.
Yes.
You get a credit card. You get a credit card.
And a free t-shirt.
Welcome to adulthood.
I just did my taxes. This is embarrassing, honestly. I just did my taxes for the first time this past weekend, and that's the first time I've ever done them in my life. Like, I've paid somebody before, and then last year I just was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to pay $300 to have somebody do this job that I think I can do myself. And so I went for it and, like, used a system that was so easy, so digestible, TurboTax or whatever. And I was like, why haven't I done this? I could have saved $300 a year, which isn't a ton, but still
it adds up.
It does.
Yeah. And I think that's the power of education, right? Like, when we take time, and it's a little bit of an investment up front of like, okay, here's, how do we actually budget so that it makes the impact in our family? All of us know how to add and subtract. That's not what gets families off track.
Math is hard.
Math is sometimes hard. But I think it's more about, it's more about the emotional side of, what am I forgetting? My value might not line up with my husband's value if you're married, or your child's value if you're single mom. Like, how do I balance all these different priorities in my life of, I want to go on vacation, he wants to buy a bigger house, what do we save for first?
So if you're looking at that, and so you've got your first, whether you have single parent home, together, married, whatever, so you've got your 2 months of your bank statement, you've done the highlighting, you've categorized, now you know now what?
Now you just have to start. Like, you're gonna fail and just start. Like, if you download an app, like You Need a Budget, or one that that works well for you, just put in some categories and see as bills come up where they fit.
Okay.
And of course there's going to be things you forget about, and then you do better the next month. And you start to realize, oh, every fall I have $300 in school fees, and I forgot to add that in February. But if you put away $15 a month into your little bucket or your envelope, then that'll be there when you need it. And you don't have this, oh no, I have credit card debt now.
Yeah.
Moments throughout the year. And so it's just learning. It takes time to just try it. You put in a few goals and you just watch as those payments go out. There's some great online tutorials for You Need a Budget too. So you just go online, watch how they do it. They step you through the process. I think that's the best.
It sounds like You Need a Budget is kind of one of your favorites.
It's my go-to for my clients. I use it personally, and but I know there's a ton of them out there that really work well.
Okay. And actually, Melissa can walk you through this. Like you'll handhold if
I
needed.
handhold plenty of clients. So I have clients who walk through a year-long process of I just need to get my crap together. And I don't know what that means. And so one of the questions that came in online is, what questions should I be asking in my 30s and 40s?
Yeah.
And I think that is a great question because it's not just about budgeting. It's the big picture of what can I control, and the things that I can't control, how do I protect them?
Right.
And so simple things that we walk through would be, how are you maximizing the money that's coming in? Are you taking advantage of your company's employer benefit plan? So a lot of employees now will match if you put something in a retirement plan like a 401k or a 403b. If you put in 3%, they'll put in 3%. That's like getting a pay raise by taking advantage of that program.
Okay.
So I always say, take advantage of free money. We all love free. And then from there, take advantage of, right now there's some great new tax laws. If you have done your taxes, maybe you saw you're getting money back this year, or you paid less in, which is a fantastic thing. And so that tax law is actually only good until 2025. And then it'll revert back to the old tax law. So over the next 6 years, there's a huge opportunity to shift like an old 401k or how you're investing at work in new ways to take advantage of those tax laws. And I have clients who are saving like thousands of dollars in just recategorizing the money that they're saving.
And if nothing that she just said made any sense, that's where the financial advisor comes in.
Why I don't change my own oil or fix my own car, because we can't be experts at everything, right? But I think the big thing to take away is there's a lot of new laws out there and a lot of new opportunities in your 30s and 40s that it just takes a free hour to sit down with someone and say, okay, give me the highlights of my story, and are there things I need to change?
I feel like you've got a lot. There was a lot to unpack there, but one of the things when you kind of mentioning, in your 30s and 40s. So I'm 35, and one of the things I think my generation for sure, and especially I think yours as a millennial, that we were kind of sold this idea that, get to college, go to college, no matter what the cost, right? And a lot of us came out of college with a Bachelor of Arts and a whole lot of debt.
Yes.
So, and now we have children. We have a kid. We have 2 kids. We have, we have a friend with 5 kids.
Yeah.
How is it that a parent in that situation who is looking backwards at all of this student loan debt, maybe even credit card debt on top of it, and the car that they leased because that's what we were supposed to do because we needed a car, right? So we've got a student loan balance that we're trying to pay. We've got credit card debt because when we were students, we were also still broke and also in debt, so we were racking everything up on credit cards. We got married, so we put that on credit cards, and then you've also got all of this. So you're trying to pay all of that, but your families need stuff now.
Yeah.
And then people are talking about going on vacations, saving for college. It's enough to make you feel suffocated and sick to your stomach because you're like, I've already failed.
Yeah.
How do you move forward in that environment when you already feel like your past is haunting you and you can't go forward to the future?
Yeah. I think with anything that's overwhelming, you gotta take it in bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that is what culture wants us to feel is like, well, it's too much, so I'm gonna throw my hands up and not even deal with it, right? Like, we put on the mommy brain, the playroom's not that messy, I'll just close the door. And I think that's with our financial story too. Like,
absolutely,
we can close the door on our story for quite a long time and kind of coast through. Like, we're paying our bills today, we're paying the minimum payments on the student loans or the credit card debt. We're not really grasping what our decisions today, how they're going to impact us when we're 55 and 65. And I think the first little step in that is just seeking understanding.
Okay.
Like, it's motivating when we understand what we're working towards. Like, we finished college for this goal out there of getting a higher paying job. At the same time, like, shifting anything in our financial story today has to be motivated by something more than just, I should fix that, because we don't really understand why.
There has to be an emotional
connection. Yeah. So I would say sitting down with someone, or coming up with a strategy with your spouse. So whether it's professional or on your own, what does it look like if we stay on this path? And then balance that with...
That could be scary.
It can be really scary, right? How will this debt grow?
Like, I literally feel like it got hotter in here. Just in the last 2 minutes.
I'm over here thinking, like, from what I've seen and what I know, and even from talking with Melissa briefly, is like, I feel like your financial story is something that can change so fluidly. Like, by making small changes, you can get major results. And that's very motivating to me, where I'm like, okay, so we're going to put, an extra $100 towards our student loans every payment for a couple of years, and that'll, chop off, hopefully.
How many years?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you start with how long is this going to take, and then you shift how you're paying payments. So debt's a huge issue right now. What you pay off first will have a greater impact in that gratification of, like, we're making progress. And so we would recommend, pay off the small ones first. If you have $50 that you owe Kohl's, pay that off. Don't put $10 on each payment that you need to. Put them in order, smallest to greatest. Be conscious of some of the interest rates, but really start to pay things off. And when you pay them off, cut the credit card up or hide it away or whatever that looks like, so you're not undoing the hard work that you just did. So that's like a quick nugget first. Pay the small ones off.
Like an easy gratification,
success, right?
And I've heard of snowballs, so then you can, like, that payment you're putting on the small, and then you pile on to the next lowest.
Yep.
So you're doubling that.
You double up, so, if you're paying $50 on one and it's done, now you can put that extra $50 on the next lowest. And you just keep going, where now you have $400 maybe to put on your student loans, because that's what's left. And you can cut years off of your plan just by the way you pay things off. So that's
that speaks to my achievement-oriented self. I'm like, yes, I can. I feel like it's a race to the end of my debt finish line, which is
right.
Like,
yay.
This is what adulting is like.
But I'm over here as the pessimist, going, okay, but like, how do I? You keep using this word extra $50, this extra money, and I'm over here as the pessimist and sometimes maybe even the realist, going, how am I finding this magical extra money? And so that's where you come back to that budgeting and finding and getting that help and looking at, okay, first of all, determine where the money is going. And then instead of letting the money tell you where it's going, shifting it so that you're giving that every dollar a purpose versus just kind of running away with.
Another great time where you can find that extra savings is if you get a promotion or a job change. I mean, most of us just celebrate that, and we aren't as thoughtful as we could on what are we going to do with that increase. Usually it just gets absorbed in standard of living. Like, oh good, we talked about swimming lessons. Like, oh good, now we can just do swimming lessons.
I feel like I need to now bring her into this argument with my husband. But but perhaps we shouldn't do that on Facebook Live.
We won't do it live.
Husband, if you're watching, this will be happening.
Avert your eyes.
It's okay.
Yes, there's going to be a discussion about the basement, but we'll do it offline.
So much safer. But that's a good segue to spouses if you are married. Money is one of the number one reasons divorce happens. Conflict around money. And so the sooner you can have, and if you need a mediator, Sarah, that's what a financial advisor is for.
I think we definitely do.
There's not a right or a wrong in money. It's how we view and value it, and then what are the decisions around it.
It sounds like cheaper therapy, because you could potentially be making money instead of spending money.
True.
Right?
It's true.
And yet solving your marital problem.
Fair enough. Well, especially if it's like one of your root marriage, one of your
Yeah.
relationship arguments.
Yeah, which if you're out there watching, you're normal because it's everyone. You know, it's a struggle to get on the same page. But when you do, that's when you have exponential growth in your story. Like, man, we're on the same page, we're on the same mission, and we want to get to here together. And when you do it together, it's so much faster.
Okay. Well, it's true. I just kind of
We'll get you
I
on
just
that.
hope he's watching.
So if he's watching, you're going to get the basement.
Like I said, offline, please. So number one, budget. Start somewhere. Start small.
Just small.
Small changes. If you need help, you know, Melissa's here to help. Other financial advisors, if there's something that you're looking for specifically to help, they can help with the things like maximizing your tax benefits, employee matching, etc. Second thing would be to go after debt and be mindful about how your money is being, not just, you know, being spent, but using it purposefully.
Yeah.
So we've covered past in terms of going after debt very briefly. This is like 95 miles per hour. We've talked about present in terms of budgeting for current.
Yeah.
Now if we're going to look toward the future.
And I feel like I want to interject here.
No.
If you're just so overwhelmed right now watching this, like I'm
me?
sweating.
I am too. I'm like, why did I wear a sweater?
But also, like, I feel like mentally have benefited from talking to Melissa, and I don't feel like you have to figure this out like alone. There's a lot of things we're talking through really fast here.
Super fast.
Yeah, I mean, this is a process. I mean, this is a journey that most people take years.
I love that you keep calling it a journey, a financial journey.
Can you get to a place on your journey where it's just you feel good all the time?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you can. But you know, life happens. Life happens, and you know, you might be in a great place and then someone breaks an arm, or you know, your husband's job, he gets let go, or you get let go, and so it's never a finished journey. And that's why I like using the word journey, because you're going to have these conversations and these decisions the rest of your life, and it's how we think about them as we go
Unexpected
through it.
twists and turns.
Yeah, and you don't have to do it alone. You are normal. It's just having people in your team around you to walk you through that and help you when you can't, you know, like we all get to that mom place of like, I can't even think straight.
Yeah.
What should I do, this or that? And that kind of goes back, Sarah, you were talking about how do we move forward, right? Like, how do we live out these goals that we're excited about? We want our kids to go to college. We want to be able to retire someday. But in the midst of all this other stuff, I'm
still trying to figure out how to feed them this week.
How do we feed 3 boys? That's crazy. But I think you start small in that area too. You take advantage of your employer options.
Now, what if you're self-employed?
Yes, that's a great thing. If you're self-employed, there's several options for you. I'm a huge fan of a simple IRA, which if you have an actual business, you can have the business pay you.
We're both like,
I'm writing notes down this.
Your business can pay you as a deduction from your business as you put money in too. So it's kind of an employer match for the self-employed. So you put in 3%, the company puts in 3%. And so there's great things. So even these mompreneurs of you sell makeup or lotion or whatever the product is, health aid, you can do that if you're self-employed.
did not know that.
The other great thing would be taking advantage of a Roth IRA. It can double up for your retirement as well as you can take money out for college or higher education. So there's a lot of benefits to, we don't even know what our kids are going to do. Well,
No kidding.
dump it in there. It stays off the FAFSA form. So the FAFSA is the financial aid form.
Wait, the Roth does?
Yes.
Oh.
Fun fact. So they don't count that against you as an asset for your family. So 529 plans are great for families who are already saving a ton in these other places and need another place. It's not great for your middle class family who could be taking advantage of tax-free growth money. So again, another reason to talk with someone who understands FAFSA rules and tax laws, because you can really put your family or your child in a bad place of, oh, it looks like you have a lot of money saved for college, when in fact this could be saved in another place and not show up.
Because there's a really big difference between the money that you have in your hand versus the money that you have on paper.
Right. And which categories they want you to write down on those applications. Yep.
I would have never thought about that.
So, I mean, your kids might be young, but you have to have all of your money in the right place by the time they're a sophomore. Because that's when they start looking at how much you as a family can contribute to school.
You still got time.
How old are they as a sophomore? 15?
15. You got to shift it around before then. You're good.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
There's time to shift.
It's so hot. It's so hot.
Fine. You're
Okay,
fine.
anybody that's watching, like, how are you feeling? Just, I want to gauge how you're feeling.
Tell us.
Comment. Do you have questions? Because we're going to keep talking here. Clearly, we could talk forever with Melissa. But if you have questions, please interject them into the comments, and we will answer them immediately. I don't see the comments yet.
Immediately.
Well, I don't see the comments yet, and I'm guessing that people are starting to just kind of, like, breathe slowly.
They're probably like me, and they're having a panic attack over on the other side of the well, a little bit. But, so, okay.
Or if you have all your ish together and you just want to
celebrate.
Tell us,
We want to celebrate with you, too.
Yeah, and you're like, this has been working for us, our family. Like, tell us about that, too, because we're here for it.
One other fact that
I have another question on the tip of my tongue. Go ahead.
No.
Okay, this is a more practical kind of question.
Yes.
So, like, again, if you're in that situation where like you're trying to budget, you're trying to get ahead, and it's been a struggle, you haven't saved, blah blah blah, but you look around you, and this girlfriend just went and spent spring break with her besties here. This family,
Facebook's so good for
this
that.
is their annual trip to Disney, and they go every year. And meanwhile, your kids are looking at you going, "Can we go to dinner? Out to dinner tonight?" You're like, "No, we can't."
Yeah.
Like, is there? I mean, okay, I don't even sure how to ask this, but like, you want to do stuff with your family. You want to create memories. So how do you kind of combat the keeping up with the Joneses sort of mentality with also genuinely wanting to give your kids experiences that they're going to remember and love and paying for it?
Yeah. No, I think that's one of the biggest issues that I see with my clients is there's a story going on out there on Facebook, and then there's a story going on behind the scenes on paper, and oftentimes those stories don't line up. People go into debt to go on these trips, or they are, working a side job that you have no idea that they're working, and are not home at night. And so there could be a lot to those stories that I think first we just need to pause and say, what does contentment mean for me? And how do I make sure that our story is, I think as moms, we're supposed to be raising responsible little humans.
Right.
And the best thing I can give to my kids is to give them financial literacy of like, hey, that's awesome. Let's go to Disney. Can you go research how much it would cost for our family to go? And I send my kids out there, and they come up with a cost base. And like, okay, well, how much would we have to save a month if we're going to go in 2 years? And it starts to resonate in their head, like, that's a lot of money, Mom. Well, what can you be doing to contribute to that? Or how, what changes?
Could you eat less?
Could you eat less?
Rice and beans!
But could you be conscious about how many apples you eat post-dinner? Like, it adds up.
If you could just have one tonight, that would be great.
That's it.
Yes.
Quit eating the Snow White apple!
As a kid, though, my parents did that for me. Like, I remember one summer, it was my brother and I and my parents, we wanted to go on this trip, and my dad said, that's great, but that means as a family, we're going to clean. We had an apartment building down the street that's where it was. He's like, I talked to the manager of the apartment building, and if we mow the grass and vacuum the hallways and do the fixer-upper stuff over the summer, we're going to have enough to go on this trip. But all of you have to commit to that's what we're doing. And I remember every week mowing grass, picking up sticks, and we were in middle school. And it was a commitment, but we paid for that trip in cash. And I think our culture has gotten away from that. Like, you have to work for the things you want. They don't just magically happen. And I think we need to instill some of that back into our kids, because if we're feeling that debt crunch, like, how much more are they going to in their generation where all they've seen is living paycheck to paycheck? So, and I think the other big thing to kind of get that leverage is maybe in your story you need to do something radical. You need to sell your house and sell your cars and move into a place that gives you the buffer that you need. A much bigger buffer to get out of debt knowing in 5 or 7 years you can go back to.
Not saying that's part of everybody's journey, but it
could
be.
But it could be.
Yeah.
It could be. Sometimes stories have to be radical.
Well, because you and I were talking before we even started about how we get into this. We find ourselves in this trap where we're house shopping, and because we kind of, rather than buy the house that we can afford, we buy the house that we want.
Yep.
And then you're struggling to just make the mortgage payment each month, let alone the grocery bill and everything else.
Yep.
And then you find yourself digging yourself further and further and further. And
but in most cases of clients and families that I work with, there's more margin than you realize.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
I think that's something that I've learned in the
is.
last year, too, where I've gotten, this is just personally, and you can correct me, but I feel like I love grocery budgeting because it's an area where you can cut back really massively, and something where I'm, like, always trying to take it to the next level, like with meal planning, which I'm very bad at. If you have more suggestions on meal planning,
I'm terrible.
But, like, I've noticed that the fluctuation, can be hundreds, right? Each month.
For sure.
And I'm like, $200 extra cutting off, even if it is just rice and beans, one dinner a week. And that sounds extreme at this point, but, like, that's, an option of cutting back on some small ways, eating all of our leftovers up, being something my husband and I have been super intentional about is eating every single leftover up.
Yeah.
And that's a huge savings because we're not
It's
eating
silly
lunch.
to think, but it's true. Like, that stuff adds up.
That would be another argument with my husband if he was watching. He's probably watching from a restaurant.
If you're
at
watching,
lunch.
you will eat that chicken
Stop
wild
eating
rice
out
soup.
every single day.
The other
Eat the chicken wild rice soup in this fridge. Eat it.
Eat it. You can do it.
I made you the leftovers. Take them.
The other big place you can save as your kids get into school is just being very conscious about a kid fund. A kid fund. So I put away a couple $100 a month for all the crazy kid things that come up because you get flyers for buy the spirit wear, go
School
on the
fees.
field trip, be a part of this science competition. It's only $15 here or there, but when you have 3 kids and you're getting these flyers home, jump rope for heart. All of these things are good. None of them are bad.
I'm sorry. We had like a real row in my house about the
jump rope.
about the fundraising. Oh my gosh.
But if you say this is what my budget is towards kids, there's times where, like, you know what, we aren't buying the spirit wear shirt this time unless you want to use your birthday money from grandma and grandpa or whatever that looks like. And putting a little bit back on them of, like, here's the things that are going to be coming up. Which ones do you want to say yes to and which ones don't you? Because culture will tell you should have it all, right? A different spirit wear shirt for every sport your child's in, whatever that looks like in your family or activity, band, but that's a huge way. It could be $100 a month or it could be $600 a month, and you have to set the limit. Like, what is that for your family?
But the important thing is that there's a limit.
Yeah. What is the limit?
Otherwise, you don't know.
And what are you giving up by shifting that limit? Yeah.
And spinning it in the positive direction, like you were coming all the way back to your budgeting that you were talking about, is that if you've got the budget set up, you do have money then available, presumably, to use for the things that are fun and important to you and your family.
Yep.
And that it's not like giving yourself a budget isn't giving yourself like a prison sentence.
No, it's actually it should be
more
freedom.
empowering
Like,
than that.
oh, I have $50 to go get my hair done. I can actually enjoy that and not worry about, do I have enough money this month? Nope, it's set aside. It's there. Or I just want to save up for our vacation. By setting a budget on kids' activities, it's freeing up the $100 or $200 a month we need to go to Disney in 3 years. Like, that is the shift. It's like what I want to do versus what culture tells me I should be spending it on. Yeah, good.
Well, we want to wrap up on that positive note because there's so many, like we talked about, there's so many emotions tied into money and wanting to do the best for our family while also, being healthy and responsible in our spending. And that's where getting a financial advisor can be so helpful. So thank you so much to Melissa for your time and your expertise today. This was very much the tip of the iceberg, really.
Yeah, and I'd love to leave, our fun moms with the fact that if you want more resources, we just flew through a ton of this, but love to meet for an hour and provide resources for your particular story, because I think every story is so different. So just comment below or message me on Facebook.
We'll put her contact information right into the description of this video as well as in the comments, so you'll be able to easily reach out to Melissa. And again, thank you so much for your
Yeah,
time.
thanks for having me, girls.
And if you have questions, continue to drop them in the comments. And this is the part where I awkwardly stand up and go push finish.